live one-on-one conversation. 30 minutes of pure entertainment with musicians, writers, and actors to motivators, chefs, and even rappers to up-and-comers with the it factor. It's the Jazzie K Ward coming at ya. Have fun, some smiles, a few laughs. Tune in, chime in, sit back, relax. Have fun, some smiles, a few laughs.
Everybody, welcome to the show. Welcome back to season 7 of Artist Talk. I'm your host, Jazzie K Ward, and I am so excited to be back. It's been a long time, y'all. I see people coming in the room. I've been missing all of your comments. Unfortunately, it's virtual, so I can't see your faces, but Dr. G and I definitely have missed each and every one of you. I see people coming in the room. Again, welcome to the show. Well, we're streaming on all social media platforms, on Soul TV, on the Roku channel, on my YouTube channel, Facebook, on X, Instagram, and all that jazz. Okay, so don't forget to go over to K Ward Radio, which is my YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe. KWardRadio.com is the website. Make sure you sign up for that as well. And if you don't, as we say on the show, shame on you. I am so glad to be back. So before we get started, let me bring in, well, we'll wait to do that, but I'm super excited about our guest tonight. International recording artist Ryan Montano is here. Dr. G is in the house. And of course, Chef D is in the house. He runs everything in the background. So we are super excited about that. So are you ready to kick off Artist Talk? I think so. Let's go ahead and start the show right now.
Live from WKRW, welcome to Artist Talk, a live one-on-one conversation with your host, the man with the golden voice, Jazzie K Ward.
Did you hear that, y'all? Did you see me? I was in the band, but I was kind of behind the curtain. I don't know if you all could see me. Ryan kind of just stuck me back there because hey. But anyway, he'll tell you about it a little bit a little later. I see people coming over to the show. Make sure you go to Ryan's website, which is ryanmontano.com, which will be streaming at the bottom of this screen. If you have questions or comments tonight for our guests, please make sure you post those in the chat, and I promise you we will do our best to answer those. But before we get started, I wanted to bring on my lovely co-host, my friend, the lovely Dr. Chantel Graham, but we affectionately call her Dr. G. Let's see what Dr. G has been up to.
Hello, Jazzy. How are you?
I'm good. Dr. G, how are you, my friend?
It's good to be back. Life is life, and that's my thing. It just never stops. It's always something new. But what you gonna do? Suck it up, boy.
Yeah, just suck it up, Dr. G. Definitely life has been life. You know what you and I talk about, right? You know
Yes,
what
every
I've
time.
been kind of dealing with and all that stuff. But we're so excited to have you back on the show. We always are looking forward to having you and what we prepare for the rest of the week too.
Hello. I know, and Colleen, she is always supporting us. Hi, Colleen. How
It's
you
so
guys
good to
doing?
see you.
And Kenneth is always there. I'm ready to give you guys some new and good stuff. Just remember, you independent artists, just continue to choose content over compensation. What I mean about that, just be you. You are uniquely you. Keep your clothes on. Don't have everything out. I'm just saying.
That's right.
I watched TV the other day and I said, do they not show everything or is it me? I mean, if that's your thing, that's your thing. But just be true to who you are. Don't try to compete with other people. So make sure you just keep giving your good content and don't compensate.
That's right. Don't compensate. And so, Dr. G, I'm excited about our guest. Have you ever heard of Ryan Montano? I know y'all had a chance to meet in the green room.
Yes, shame on me. I have not, but I'm going to add that to the playlist immediately.
That's right.
Because I was actually doing a little salsa. I was ready to put on my cha-cha heels, the black ones, but I didn't want to do it. Break my neck in the middle of the evening, then that won't be good.
Did you see me in the band?
Don't forget, we was there together. We both was in the back. You don't do that.
Okay. I thought you were there.
I was waving you on the other side. We didn't want to show too much of our talent, but we'll let him shine a little bit. But we'll come back out and.
Oh, Dr. G. Well, I'm so excited to have you back, my friend, and I look forward to you joining us at the bottom of the hour of the show and joining us for the second half of the show in the conversation.
Let me get my health tip of the week because I keep playing around till the last minute.
Okay. We'll see you a little bit later, okay?
All right. See you soon.
Okay. Hey, that's Dr. G. I'm always looking forward to that. But so we could get the show started, everybody. Hey, welcome to the show. I'm your host, JAZZIE K. Ward, and welcome to Artist Talk JAZZIE After Dark. International recording artist Ryan Montano is an internationally celebrated trumpeter. He's a songwriter. He's a band leader. He's a recording artist. His beautiful tones, sophisticated and memorable compositions, impactful live performances, and precise technique have garnered him global radio play, airplay, festival performances across the United States. He's a 5-time Billboard charting recording artist. His debut contemporary jazz single, like I Like That, found nationwide popularity and acclaim by reaching the number 14th position on the Billboard National Jazz Airplay chart. Now, he also has a current release, which is called Enchanted Lands, which I love. It's currently being played at radio stations across the United States and Western Europe. And I'm so excited. There's so many different components to this young man. I'm so excited. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to Artist Talk, recording artist Ryan Montano. What's up, my friend Ryan?
Hey, Jazzy, how are you doing? Glad to be here.
I'm good. Glad to see you, my friend. So how was your Monday?
It's been a great Monday so far. I I hit a pothole a couple days ago. And so yesterday I was finally able to I had to replace the wheel and everything. So it was a big old long debacle for the weekend. So today I took some time to really appreciate being stress-free, and it's been a good day so far. And then I just found out today that my song Enchanted Lands just won the award for Best Jazz Song at the New Mexico Music Awards last night. And so that was... You have those little buttons that you have to clap on and everything? That's pretty cool. Okay. But so, that was some good news that I got today. And, just trying to make sure that I give thanks to God and that I appreciate every moment and live in the moment. Because it's a little hard to do, sometimes as artists and creators and creatives. I feel like we get caught up in, what's the future hold? What's going to come next? And so one thing I'm trying to make sure that I do is allow myself to be more present in the moment and more appreciative and appreciate the moment to moment. So, yeah. What about yourself? How's your Monday?
My Monday is Mondaying. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It is good. Thank you so much for asking me, Ryan. And again, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to have a conversation with me. I really appreciate that.
I'm thankful for the opportunity, and more importantly, I appreciate what you're doing for the format and creating a platform and getting people to engage. I see everybody in the comments. Hello, everyone. That's huge for artists. I feel like everybody wants, the billboards and the recognition, the nationwide festivals. And I feel like all that stuff comes at the foundation of grassroots supporters of this music. So thank you, JAZZIE. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. I really wanted to start to do this platform, Ryan. I think about when the pandemic happened. And, I won't ever mention names, but there are so many artists, right, that mainstream artists that I feel they get the recognition. They've been grinding a long time, but there are artists like yourself that I feel that I should see more on festivals, that I should see more of headlines. I should see just more of. And I wanted to do this to bring that to the forefront for those artists that we call on the show who have that it factor, that these are gifted artists that, we continuously listen to artists we like. Nothing wrong with that. But these are artists that you probably have backed a mainstream artist, and people just really won't ever know who you are because you may be behind this big name person. And then a lot of times we don't know the politics behind. If you work with a mainstream artist, you feel like, oh, if he worked for this artist, why haven't I ever heard of him or her? Why isn't that artist pushing Ryan? Not saying they haven't or, wouldn't, but so I said, you know what, let me look for artists. And, there's a lot of artists who I just haven't had the chance to have a conversation. So please, anybody that are watching the replay or watching this, don't think I forgot you. It's just that the show is one day a week. I'm one person and I can only get to so many artists. But I think there's so many gifted and talented indie recording artists like yourself. There's such amazing talent. And I think for artists like yourself, we have to continue to support you. And you may not be signed to a major label. You may not have the backing that some of the artists. So what can we do as a consumer to continue to support your art?
I think what you're doing, you're inspired by this format and by this music, and you felt the creative inspiration to create something, a platform that not only the music, but the artist can be showcased. Like that's one example, I love social media engagement. I had to make a decision a few years ago to take a healthy step back from how I engage on social media, but I read every comment and I look at all the likes and all that stuff like that. And that really, that feels good. And I think, little things like that, or even, supporting an artist on their website or on their Spotify or on their Apple Music, buying their music, buying their merchandise, going to shows, I see everybody in the chat room. Hello. I see Colleen specifically because I know she's always tagging me on Facebook because she's sharing my music all the time. It's things like that. It doesn't take too much time and effort. And I think that's something that just can go a long way for any sort of artist.
Right. I believe that. And everybody that is just tuning into the lab, welcome to Artist Talk. I'm your host, Jazzy K. Ward. A special guest tonight is international recording artist, songwriter, and trumpeter, Mr. Ryan Montano. Please go over to ryanmontano.com is the website, which you will see streaming here at the bottom of the screen. If you have questions or comments, please post them there. You can go to the website. You can download some music. Enchanted Lands is his latest release. And so while we're on the platform, just go over to wherever music is sold and streaming and just download the song. Just download the song. And I always tell people, gift it. I always gift music to friends because I kind of call myself a kind of a connoisseur when it comes to music. And a lot of my friends, some people don't like jazz, right? So as gifts, well, what I do is I buy artists music and say, hey, you should listen to this. I know you may not be the big, and most of them are like, you know what, Jazzy, I like that. Well, see, you have to kind of open your, not your palate, but your brain and mind to different things, whether it's country, it's rock, jazz, hip hop, whatever you listen to, okay? But if you don't know Ryan Montano, as we say, shame on you. So, Ryan, before we kick off, we have a segment called The Real You. I'm just going to ask you 3 random questions, a little bit about you, Ryan, outside of your music profession a little bit. Okay, you ready?
Ready. I'm ready for it.
So, Ryan, if we made a movie about your life, what would the title be? And would it be a comedy or a drama?
I think it would definitely be a drama with small moments of comedy in there. And I probably call it Loner off the top of my head because I pretty much do everything as independently as I possibly can. I have a philosophy of I like not being beholden to anyone in any sort of way, like no record label, no debt, no, I don't owe anybody anything. And that's by design, because I feel like when there's a dynamic of where you're indebted to someone, whether it be financially or whether it be creatively or even emotionally, that keeps you from a place of being able to express and to be able to live authentically because you're having to make, not all the time, but I feel like a lot of caveats because, especially with music, if you're with the label or if you're with representation, there's the foundation of why they're behind you is monetary based. And that may be up for debate or argument, but most of the record labels and most of management, I would operate under the assumption, are not going to be with an artist unless there's some sort of monetary benefit. You know what I mean? I do feel like there's ancillary benefits to that, helping an artist grow. They believe in the artist. There's they like the music, things like that. I think those are also incorporated, but at the foundation, there has to be a sort of a profit revenue generation sort of type dynamic. Otherwise, it's not worth their time. Time is money. I get all that stuff. So, I would say that I would call it Loner, but not in a bad way. Like I like people. I like going out and being social and things like that. But in terms of, business and relationships and things of that nature, I find myself even more so lately, just preferring a lot of solitude. I hope that's not a bad thing.
I think that's a good thing. I'm kind of the same way. I think that's good though.
Yeah, it could be. I think it could be good. I think it could be bad if it's if relationships are damaged or if you maybe don't have an outlet. Because sometimes it's nice to have a social support structure, especially with family. My family's great, and they've been in my corner since day one, and I'm thankful for them. So I make sure that I'm there for them as they are there for me. And so, but at the foundation, like I have, the close friends that I have, I can count on both hands, and I prefer to keep that way. So, but yeah, that's, if they were to make a movie, I would call it Solitude, or not maybe Solitude. I like that, Colleen. Hey, Tina Gassett, I see you. But yeah, I would have to call it Loner. So.
Okay. And this is just something I was thinking about while we were talking. And if you had to choose an actor, somebody that you wanted to play you, do you have anybody in mind?
I'd probably guess Jason Statham would probably be the closest one.
Okay.
Got relatively the same sort of look and whatnot. I don't know.
I like that. I like that.
He's probably got better abs than I do, but hey, I'm working on it. So
Good. Another question. What would you rather be, rich or famous, and why?
and I have to choose one of those?
Yes.
Because my initial gut reaction was to see neither, because I'm not.
Okay.
But if I had to choose one, I would say rich, because I feel like there are people, that are Instagram famous, or there are people that are locally famous or smooth jazz famous, you know what I mean? But necessarily they don't have the freedom that comes along with being financially independent. And so I think when you have financial independence, there's so much freedom that comes in, and not just like freedom to do things, but freedom to be, freedom to think, freedom to just explore where your intuitions want to go, without having to worry about, oh, can I afford this, or I need to dedicate this day towards getting more work so I can pay rent, or and sometimes I'm there. Some months are better than other months. So the months where I'm doing well and the money's coming in nicely, then it really makes me appreciate that much more the financial independence that has been earned. So yeah, I would say rich over famous, because fame's kind of overrated. I've experienced certain degrees of that, with different trades and being in the movie business and stuff like that. And I don't know, I find that for a lot of people, some people handle it really well and some people don't. And there's just a certain sort of dynamic that comes with being well known that personally I shy away from that, because I don't know. So
Okay, I like that. Thank you for that answer. Tell me something that you could do now, but you couldn't do 5 years ago. Anything you can think of?
Yeah, I would say the courage to be myself, the courage to, and I would say that it's always been there, but there was always certain reservations. What is so and so, especially when I first started putting out music in the national sphere, I just remember being really self-conscious about how it was going to be perceived by the industry and players in the industry and whatnot. And not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but I do feel that that can be holding someone back. So, I've done a lot of growth, to just be myself and to be unabashedly direct with who I am and the things that I want. And of course, kind and respectful on top of all of that at all times. But yeah, just to be myself. And I'm proud of that. And I hope to continue to grow that into, because it's a never ending journey. And I hope to always be able to get to that next level of just, I just call it authentic, or to be honest.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm.
Yeah. I've seen the comment section. Chantel said, yeah, you are uniquely you. And I think that's just so important. Just, a lot of times, I'm a person, I'm always reading books and ways I can better myself, and what can I do to be a better person, and then trying to find ways to change myself. And you know what I said, I am designed truly who I am. Nobody can be Jazzie, Corey, and that's what makes us so different and special and unique. And I stopped trying to change me.
Yeah. And I think it takes courage, and it's hard, and it's normal for us to want the respect and admiration of our peers. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I just think it could be a detriment to being your authentic self if you're trying to fit certain molds. And I get all that, but just doubling down on yourself, like you said, and this is who I am, and having the courage to do that. I think that people emanate that. You can feel when someone's like that, yeah, they're just uniquely, they're not trying to be anything else. And for me, that energy is really attractive. I really like that. And so those are goals towards which I aspire.
Okay. Well, we love that. And I tell everybody on the show, if this is your first time learning of Ryan Montano, or hearing his music tonight, you're in for a treat of great conversation. And shame on you if you didn't know it. Shame on you. Okay. So you'll hear that, Ryan, throughout the show a lot. The hashtag we use is shame on you. I see people in the room. Hi, Tina, Colleen, Rose Lady. Thank you all so.
I'm good friends with Tina. She's been a big supporter of mine for about, I would say, this past year and a half. And I just sent her a text because she's been, not only playing and supporting my music, but she orders T-shirts. And do custom t-shirt orders and whatnot. And when we were referencing earlier about things that people can do to help artists and independent artists, the things like Tina does, you know what I mean? She's always sharing my music and, ordering t-shirts and just being engaged with the creative process. I think, I don't know. I really appreciate that. And so.
Well, we appreciate it. Thank you so much, Tina. And while we're talking about that, your merchandise, tell us about your t-shirts, your custom t-shirts.
Yeah. So, I was always really reticent about putting my name or names of my songs on like a coffee mug or a sticker or a keychain. And not that there's anything inherently wrong with that, but if it comes from a place of authenticity, then it's like, yeah, like this is how I want, I want someone drinking their coffee and to be able to hear, be able to see my song. But I feel like with Tina specifically, I had a few t-shirts on my website that had certain designs and certain colors. And she's like, hey, can you do like a certain kind of design? I really like this song of yours. And like, for one example, this song that I have is called Future Smooth. And the logo, the way it looks is it's a hexagram, because like 6 is my number. I was born on June 6th and I live in a town off of Route 66. So 6 has always been my number. So I incorporated that. And she goes, I really like that logo. Can you add it on a t-shirt? And I said, absolutely. So I did that. And then I added her name on the bottom of it. So yeah, I got my degree in journalism. And with that I taught myself how to do animation, graphic design, video editing, photography, things of all that nature. So I can do all my own designs. And so anybody that needs a custom t-shirt, just shoot me a Facebook message or an email, and I can get you something that I think you might be happy with. So.
Okay. Well, I love that. Did y'all hear that, people? It's all about support, y'all. So whoever is watching this, whoever goes back and watch the replay, please make sure you share the video, also share with your friends, and support these indie artists. You can go over to Ryan's website, which is streaming at the bottom of the screen here, and go over and order you a t-shirt today. And along with that, just download some music. Ryan, can they get hard copies from you too?
Yeah, I have albums that I can personally autograph and send physical hard copies of my albums, and those are available on my website as well.
Okay, see there? See how easy that is, ladies and gentlemen? So, hey, everybody. Again, my special guest tonight is international recording artist Ryan Montano. We're going to have a little bit more conversation with Ryan. We're going to take a short break. Dr. G is here, and Dr. G is going to give us our health tip of the week. And we're going to continue more conversation right here on Artist Talk. We'll be right back.
All right, this is saxophonist D. Lucas, and you have just watched Artist Talk with my man, JAZZIE K. Ward. Hey, check him out every Monday at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on his Facebook Live or YouTube. And if you don't, shame on you.
Thank you. And
D. Lucas.
D. Lucas. And Ryan, while I have you here live, I'm going to need you to do one of those videos.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
I need you to do one of those videos. So what we're going to do, Ryan, we're going to bring Dr. G in with our health tip, and then we're going to come back with a little bit more conversation with you, okay?
Love it.
Okay, here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
It's time for Health and Wellness Check-In with Dr. Chantel Graham. Tips for the mind, body, and soul.
Dr. G is on the line. Dr. G, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How's it going? That's my journalist voice, so I can work with Ryan. So if you need a little, Let me stop. Hotmess.com. How's it going?
It's going good, Dr. G. This is live from MSNBC. We're going live with correspondent Dr. Chantel Graham.
So today's topic right now is going to be about. No, I'm just playing. So you know me, I don't really get these topics in advance. I try to, and every time I try to get a topic in advance, it just never works out. Just like again it did today, because Ryan and I were talking in the green room, and he just changed my whole mental thought. And then I said, mental thought. Think about it. We're in May, and May is Mental Health Awareness Month. I'm not a fan of all these months because I feel like there's things that we should just focus on all the time. But since we're going with that stereotype, Mental Health Month, the one thing we don't talk about is how our nutrition affects our mental health. Yes. So when people say that they're hangry and they are mood swings and they're angry because they didn't eat, that is a real thing. So having a well-balanced diet will help with your stress level reduction. It will help depression. It also help with your cognitive muscle brain function going on here. So think about the things you're going to add into your diet that's going to help that. You better have those good omega-3s. You got to have that good seafood and fish. And for those who are vegan, calm down. I got something for you too. You can have nuts, okay? That'll take care of those omega-3 fatty acids. You want to add good folic acid, which is just a different kind of B vitamin, B8. You want to add those things. Those are going to help with that brain function. What helps with depression really is antioxidants. It helps with depression as well as fight Alzheimer's disease. So think about adding that to it. Some magnesium is another good thing you want to add in. People don't think about it. Vitamin D is wonderful, not only for just getting that good bone health, but also for your mental health and your mood swings. So when I say I'm hangry at my job, I tell my staff, don't be giving me slack, don't be giving me the side eye. I'm off balance. So I got to add those good foods into my diet and stop playing around. You got to balance that stuff out. That is going to be very, very important. And whole grains. People like, don't do carbs, don't do this, but we need some kind of carbs. That's how we get our energy, how we get to move around. So if you're sluggish, eat a little carb, eat a banana, have a snack. I'll feed you some rice. You might not like it, just get it together. But think about it. Mental health awareness might not tell people all the time. It's okay not to be okay. What's not okay is not getting help. Christian background, back in the day, we gave everything to Jesus and everything was better. No, God made therapists too. And sometimes it's not so much that you need a psychiatrist or a psychologist. You may need a life coach. Oh, Chantel's a life coach. Yeah, Chantel's a life coach. Just about organizing your thoughts and getting yourself together. Because if you got it up here and don't get it out some kind of way, it's going to affect you. So take care of yourself. Check in on your strong friends, those ones you just call, vent, talk to, like I call and vent to you and Chef. But I also call and check on you guys too. So check on those strong friends. Check on the family. Do something, okay? Get yourself together. All the way together.
I love that, Dr. G. I love that, Dr. G. And let people know how they can find you.
You can go to my website, theapplife.info. I'm across social media as Dr. Shawnee 0730. I got my girl on the side.
Tell us about the book.
So I'm not going to talk about Nia today because I'm going to tell you right now, you independent artists, I feel what you're going through. I'm a self-published author of a children's book. And right now, me and my publicist, we're just not doing well right now because they don't want to listen to the artist. So me and Nia are going to go somewhere else. So that'll be news to come soon. But you can still get your copy on Amazon, Goodreads, Barnes & Nobles, or you can email me and I'll send your autographed copy when you pay for your shipping and handling.
I love that. I love that. Everybody, go get the book. You can find, and Dr. G, what's the best place to reach you on social media?
Dr. Shawnee 0730 across social media. Come check me out.
All right. That's right. I love that. Can you stick around? I want you to hang out on the show. If you have questions for Ryan, we're going to talk a little bit and listen to some music.
I'm about to pull out my clarinet and we're going to just you're going to bring out the trombone.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. G. That's Dr. Chantel Graham. She's here each and every Monday right here on Artist Talk. So let's bring our special guest back on, international recording artist, Ryan Montano. Hey there, Ryan.
Hey, Ryan.
Hello.
And as we were talking, Ryan, about like your music and mental health, and I think music plays a very important part, right, in mental health. So what does Ryan do to take care of his mental health?
It depends. It's different on different days, but I'm a big fan in exercise but not necessarily, at least for me, going to the gym and sweating it out on a treadmill, or that could be good. But personally, I love, because I'm here in Albuquerque and I live up in the East Mountains. And so I love going on insanely long bike rides or long jogs and just really getting lost in exercising and really pushing it. You find out a little bit about yourself and kind of your ability to push past certain physical boundaries. And that always feels good. And then, of course, the endorphin release after you really go hard, that always feels good. I think that, along the lines of what Dr. G is expressing, mind, body, and spirit, the food that you put in your body, the kinds of food, your knowledge of nutrition, that is to me, that's arguably the most important aspect of one's health. The relationships that you have, the kind of relationships, not only personally, but professionally, and then even relationships with your craft. Are you creating from a spirit of authenticity and honesty, or all of those things for me personally go into creating better health. I love golfing as well. I really love golfing. So that's, and you can get a really good workout. Most people don't think, it depends how you golf, I guess, but you can get a really good, especially if you go to the driving range and you really start cranking them out, trying to send them down the fairway, that's another great outlet. But I would have to say, the food thing is probably the biggest one. I would have to say.
You cannot outwork a bad diet. I don't care how much you go to the gym, how much you play golf, how much you walk and run and bike ride. You cannot outwork a bad diet. Now, see, we could tell what we different demographics, because I like kickboxing. It's a good stress reliever.
Yep, absolutely. I think, for many years I tried to outwork a bad diet, and then when I started educating myself more on nutrition, then it's like, oh, I don't have to be killing myself so many hours a day. And then conversely, if you do excessive exercise, sometimes your body's metabolism will get used to that high amount of physical exertion, and then will actually hold on to more of the calories, so to speak, or the fat content, or wherever it's coming from in your body, and then it can be counterproductive. You know what I mean? So I think one of my friends told me, as a personal trainer, he said it was 80% diet, 20% physicality. So
100% true.
Do you listen to your own music, Ryan, when you work out?
Yeah, all the time. I try to, one of the exercises I like to do is to try to put myself in a mindset of where I'm maybe potentially an audience member listening to my music, to see like, what would that feel like? You know what I mean? Because I feel like when I listen to other people's music, I can feel the spirit with which it was created. And sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's negative, sometimes it's neutral. And then every range of emotion in between that. But I listen to my music, and sometimes I like to play games where I listen as a first-time listener, or sometimes I like to listen to my music with a very critical ear. Or sometimes I like to listen to my old music and be like, okay, well, I'm really glad that I've improved and grown. And then sometimes I listen to my music and be like, wow, I created that song back in the day with a really nice spirit of adventure and authenticity. And I'm hoping to channel that energy again, because sometimes you get off that path a little bit. So I'm listening all the time. I listen to a lot of music, and I listen to a lot of podcasts I really like. So I'm always listening to things, and it's fun. As they say, I'm trying to do all the side quests in this life. You know what I mean? Just trying to experience all the adventures that life has to offer. So
I love that. So when we think about music, whether you're listening to hip hop, jazz, gospel, country, so when you think about jazz music, I think it's in a lane all by itself, right? But I want to ask you this question: why should people care about jazz music?
It's hard for me to say what people should and shouldn't do. I think that one of the compliments that I've always appreciated when someone comes up to me, they'll say like, I don't like jazz, but I like your jazz music. And I get that comment a lot. And I feel like, especially in the world of straight ahead jazz, there's a certain energy that it has to be in order to be accepted by that community. And I find it in other subgenres of jazz as well. There's, the purists of that format that say this is what it should and shouldn't be. And I think that, I don't know, man, I hate to keep harping on this, but if you just create from a spirit of authenticity, I just think that that's the best way that you can create music. And so I think when people hear that, I think, or when you create in that, people can feel that. One of my favorite producers is Timbaland. And he had this, I don't know if you guys ever remember that it was called Masterclass. I think it's still out there, where it's a subscription based. And he gave a masterclass, and he made a beat, he made a song from start to finish. I mean, he's genius, just to watch him be able to channel the spirit of creativity that he does, and what I perceive to be a spirit of authenticity. And at one of the last questions they asked is like, people are asking, how do I get my music known, or how do I get known, or how do I get famous? And there's two people that have given interesting responses. Timbaland said that He goes, I don't know that answer. He goes, but people will feel the spirit that you create with your music. And so I feel like if artists, when they're creating music, rather than worrying about how it's going to do on radio or how it's going to reach a certain audience or how many more Instagram followers or Spotify streamers that they can get, if they just create from what God gave them, their intuition, their heart, their gut, if they create from there, then what's meant to be will be. And then there is, you guys have heard of the comedian Steve Martin?
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So he was on this interview on PBS called The Charlie Rose Show, or Charlie Rose, I think is what it's called. And they were asking someone, essentially that same question got asked. It's like, how do you, people ask me all the time, how do you become famous? How do you make it? And he said the same thing. I don't have that answer. He goes, but what I would recommend, if your goal is you want to be in the industry, be so good that they can't deny you. And to me, that's one of the best pieces of advice that I think that I've ever heard, is because, you can try so many things and whatnot, but if you truly respect your craft and truly hone it and be undeniable, there's only so many people that can deny it. And so I think being undeniable with your craft and being undeniable with your authenticity, in my opinion, is the winning formula. And that's why people should care. I think because there's a lot of artists, especially in this genre, that are creating in that space, but for whatever reason haven't been able to parlay that into wider recognition. And so, but I think
that they put jazz in just one box. Because I know when I hear about jazz, people think about my mom and dad music, that mellow, slow jazz, what I like to call brown liquor songs, and I think they have to realize that jazz just has so many facets. And I think that's just for any genre. Look at rap. I mean, you can listen to old school Slick Rick, and then you can listen to what they got going on. I think they have to stop putting things into a box and just try it. You don't know what you like until you try it. Like, that's it. Try it. And you will just be surprised. And you're going to be uniquely you, because if you're chasing someone else, that's just going to be a fad. When that person is off the market and they have this culture cancel that they're going to do right now, they cancel that person and you're chasing that person, they're going to cancel you too. So just be you. And that's it. That's all you can do. You can never go wrong with that. Remember, you don't have to remember a lie.
Yeah, and maybe some people are holding out for the people that get canceled. It's like, oh, I'm going to act like this dude, because when he gets canceled, then I can feel that way or something. So.
Nope. You don't have to remember the truth. So when you just who you are, that's just who it's going to be. And if they can't, and what are you going to do? Because it's going to always be something new, something different. And what do you want to do? You want to just be a chameleon and change all the time. And everybody can't do everything well. Like me, I'm going to be okay with being in the background singer when we go on tour. I don't have to be in the front. Just cut my check. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's right. And hey, everybody. And Gerald said it. You can feel your authenticity in the song soulfully. It's still so good. That's so good.
First of all, I wanted to say thank you, Jared. I really appreciate that comment. Can I share a quick story about that?
Oh, sure.
Soulfully. So Darren Ron is a producer, and him and I worked on that song together. And I was living out in Nashville at that time. And that song took me about 8 months to write from start to finish. And I would go on jogs in Nashville with the demo that I had recorded. I'd put it on my phone and I'd listen to my headphones, and I would just be jogging and just trying to come up with melodies on that song, because everything I was writing it was fine. It sounded good, but it didn't quite feel like it had that it factor that you're always talking about. You know what I mean? And so for months I would just go on jogs and I would just try to find that thing that felt good. And it took many hours and many days and many months for me to get there, but I got there. And I think, from a divine standpoint, that intention was felt by, like, for me, I'm a believer in God. And that was a God thing, that song got me through the pandemic, because it ended up becoming a huge hit. And while most of my friends were, when the lockdowns came, they were forced into, subsidiaries and government money to make sure they could just pay their rent. And I didn't have to do any of that. And I think that was a reward for choosing the path of honesty rather than, I need to get this out. And then, you know what I mean? So I appreciate you recognizing that, Jared. Thank you. Right. Also, if it's possible, I'd love to get a shout out to Rose Lady Edmond, because she's always on my Facebook and social media as well, and sharing, commenting, engaging. So I appreciate that. So I just wanted to make sure that I give them proper recognition. So
of course, we love Rose Lady. Edmonds and the Jazz Lovers Corner. They support me. They support everybody. So many amazing artists, and again, I have to thank her as always. Thank you so much, Rose Lady. We're so grateful.
Putting out shout outs. I'm trying to expose this music to the younger generation. My niece, who's only 24 years old, I know Shania, I just told your age on Facebook. They know anyway. So she's actually tuned in. Thank you, Shamani. So, there she go. Great show. Love you, boo. So we got to have to get it out there. I think it's just a matter of exposing people to what jazz is. It's not just one sound. You're going to get that upbeat tempo. You're going to get that slow tempo. You're going to get that smooth tempo. I mean, we've seen some great artists come across this show who I was never exposed to. # shame on me. But now I keep them in rotation. And I'm the type of person. People ask all the time, how come we not rich? How come, Jazzy?
Because you didn't share my shit.
Okay. So sharing is caring, and it costs you nothing to share. Nothing share.
At all. And I want to move ahead a little bit. I want to talk about real quick. Time always flies when you're having so much fun, right? I love authentic conversations, right? But they always seem to go so fast. But I want to get into some of Ryan's music. I play, for the longest, I thought about like Ryan's song, like Honey Girl, Whiskey Peace, Burning Boats, which I used to just play over and over and over. And I like Ryan's probably saying, oh God, Jazzy, I do have other songs. But I used to play that a lot. And Penny for Your Thoughts.
Penny Thoughts. Yeah.
Penny Thoughts. I used to play that over and over and over and over and over again. But this new song, Enchanted Lands, I do want to play a snippet of it. Chef, if we can play that. And then I want to ask Ryan some questions behind the song too. So this is his latest release, Enchanted Lands. And Ryan, real quick, tell them about the song. And the song just won an award too.
Yeah, so Enchanted Lands is a song that's dedicated to my home state of New Mexico. It's known as the Land of Enchantment. And I wrote it together with my dear friend, and he's a film producer. His name is Kenneth Segura Knoll. And he approached me about a year ago. He's like, hey, man, I've been messing around with this song idea. He goes, I'd like your creative interpretation of it. No intention of this song, getting out further than just, it was supposed to be a small project amongst friends and colleagues. And then as, I started getting into my computer, into my editor and just going with ideas. And it just started channeling into something that was really unique and really authentic. And so we were like, well, what should we call this? And I thought, well, we're both, artists from New Mexico. We're both chose to make our creative lane here in the Land of Enchantment. I said, and this is a song that is essentially reflective of what we've done in here. So we decided to call it Enchanted Lands. And I was just going to put it out. And actually that's what I did initially, was just going to put it out on my streaming channels and my social media, just for something I wanted to, the radio, the national radio was doing well. And I wanted to build up another avenue of my music. And I thought, I'm going to start cultivating the streaming mechanisms. And so I released it in the beginning of this year in January. And something really interesting happened in that it got picked up by all these playlists on Amazon. There was someone at Amazon that liked that song so much, they were putting it on every single jazz station and playlist that they have. They have like a Kenny G station, they have a Chris Bodie station, a Boney James station, a Dave Costa. They have a playlist called Stay Smooth. They have a playlist called Smooth Jazz for Pets. And so it was just getting hundreds of thousands of streams. And then there was a Billboard reporting station. I think it's Jay Lang in Virginia. And he added it to his heavy rotation without even it being promoted. Because usually for a song, as you know, Jazzy, for a song to get played on a radio station, it has to be sent in, or not all the time, but most of the time, a radio promoter will promote it on behalf of the artist to the programming directors of the station. None of that happens. So it's getting really great traction in the streaming world. It's getting really great traction in terrestrial radio. And this is with zero formal radio promotion, just me putting it out on my social media and then putting it on my streaming. And so I talked to my radio promoter, Jason Gorov, and he goes, Ryan, he goes, he goes, I've never seen a song do this before. He goes, I think that you should put this out. We should put a national radio campaign behind it. And so we decided to do that. And right now it's number 12 in Spain, and it's, getting played by Sirius XM Watercolors, which I getting played on Jazzie's radio station. So I really appreciate that. And, to me, that song was created in a spirit of authenticity. You know, we were just going with wherever the creative spirit moved us, and look what happened. You know, the results speak for themselves. And so I'm glad that, you know, that process that I claim to be about and work to be about, and hopefully maintain the consistency being about, is paying off. It's doing it for itself. And so, yeah, I'm proud of that song. I really like it. So.
I love that. And I want to play a snippet of the song if we can. And if you haven't heard it, you can hear it here. But in the meantime, while we're listening, make sure you go download it. Wherever music is streaming, you can get this, you can go get this song. So ladies and gentlemen, this is Enchanted Lands from Ryan Montano. Yeah, that's beautiful, right?
I'm glad the vocals to it, but I ain't want to, you know, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to outshine it, so I'm just going.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I hope you guys didn't mind. I was.
You don't want to hear
throwing-
me say. I promise you. You don't want to hear me say.
It's all good. It's all good.
No one does.
I was going to ask you, you know, whenever I do my vow renewal, will you please come and play at my wedding?
Yeah, anytime.
I love that. And so that Enchanted Lands is available. I had a question for you about this song. Oh, wow, time is flying. How are you told the truth, Ryan, through your music?
I think it's the spirit with which I'm playing, because, you know, as creatives, you know, we know where there are things that we do well, and there are things that we know that are impressive or that can get a little bit, you know what I mean? Like, especially in trumpet, like in trumpet world, playing high and playing fast, at least in trumpet world, is a badge of honor. And sometimes, like in a jam set, I go to a lot of jam sessions, like straight ahead jazz, and the high, fast, loud thing is people will be like, oh, wow, this dude's for real and stuff like that. And so there's a way that you can, and specifically even in radio world, there's a certain way that you can create melodies and songs and song structures and even grooves that will gain a certain degree of palatability and popularity in that world. Now, some people are lucky to where that palatability and popularity coincides with their artistry, with their true artistic calling. And then it's boom, it's smooth sailing. There are other artists who that doesn't correlate, but they will still create in a spirit of palatability and popularity for recognition, which to each their own, you know, whatever. That's, for me, the path that I've chosen. My artistry doesn't follow traditional radio format sound and structure. but I truly believe that that's my purpose, is to create music and to hopefully help others in that process. And so I could create songs that would be rooted in popularity and palatability, but that doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right in my soul. So when I create of authenticity, when I'm creating a melody specific, or I'm playing my trumpet, it's like, okay, I like that sounds, or you get that feeling where it's like, whoa, like that's what needs to be there. But it's a little weird. It's a little evident. It's like, that's okay. That's like, there's a reason. I'm a big believer in an intuition and your gut instinct, because that's what God gave you. And there's a reason. And so when something hits your heart or hits your gut, it's like, yo, maybe that's a way of God being like, hey man, let me help you out along there. So that's how I feel about that.
Nice.
I love that.
Nice. Love it.
I love that. Rose Lady says she would love to hear a compilation between Ryan and Lynn Roundtree.
Hey, my boy Lynn. I love Lynn. I met Lynn at NAMM, I think in 2014. So, and I'm happy for his success. He has a song called Solid. There's a phrase that musicians say all the time. It's called, man, I wish that was my song. And that's a darn good song. So every time I hear Lynn Roundtree's song, it's like, man, I wish that was my song. That's a good song. So
I know. And I know you played with some other greats. Like I'm a huge fan of Huge Groove. I'm a friend of Phil Denny's. And I know you played with some other artists. Who are some other people you worked with?
Yeah, just did a show with Boney James a couple months ago, which was amazing. It was an honor because, I grew up, I grew up listening to those people. Dave Koz is a great friend, and he supports my music on his show on Sirius XM Watercolors. And Phil Denny we just released a song last year called Love Crash, and that was a collaboration produced by myself and my homie Camilo Quinones, CQ the drummer. That collaboration that we did, that Huge Groove and I did, that was with that song Burning Boats. That was in 2017. And that was when I left my job at the University of New Mexico doing documentary style filmmaking. And it was a great job. I had, benefits. I had the office. I had the retirement, the annual leave, the sick leave. I had all that stuff. But I was still unhappy. And I had to do some really deep soul searching. And what I found out was that I wasn't doing music full time. That's what I wanted to do. And I still do video, and I love video, and I love, doing graphics and all the things of that nature. But my true calling, I felt, was to play music, and I wasn't doing that. So in the beginning of 2017, after we came back from winter break, I walked in my boss's office and thanked her for the opportunity of being there for the past 3 years, but I needed to pursue music full time. So from there, quit my job. I moved to Kauai, lived in a tree house on my aunt and uncle's property. And I wrote that song Burning Boats. And it's a song, essentially, there's that anecdote that talks about Cortez when he was conquering the New World. He set fire to his ships because he didn't want to give himself a way out. And by me walking into my boss's office and saying like, hey, I need to leave here, which is an amazing job. I need to leave here to go play music full time. That was me not giving myself a way out where I can still get the steady paycheck and I can still make music on the side. I was like, I felt in my heart that I needed to go for it without any reservations. And so that's the significance of that song, Burning Boats. And then that collaboration with Huge Groove. And that's I'm proud of that song. And every time I hear it, it brings me back to that treehouse in the jungles of Kauai. And it's like, wow, I can't believe I did that. Like most people, my mom was telling me like, no, don't quit your job. And I was like, I got to. So
yeah. I think it's also, I think it's if you have that desire, it's that sacrifice, and if it's a burning desire that's in your gut, that intuition you were talking about, I think that's important. And I know we're out of time, and Ryan, that means you need to come back on the show, because real quick, I wanted to ask you about your experience. I know you appeared on the Jimmy Kimmel Live show. Tell me about that.
Yeah, that was with you remember those guys, Hanson? They had that song Mbop. So a friend of a friend of a friend made a few calls on my behalf and connected me with Cleto Escobedo III, who's the band leader of the Jimmy Kimmel. It's Cleto and the Cletones. And Cleto and his connections, they go way back. His friends go back to Santa Fe, New Mexico, which is where I got connected. And then they made some phone calls. And so I got a phone call. He's like, hey, man, I got this gig, playing for the band Hanson. Do you want to come play? And so that was cool. I got to meet Jimmy Kimmel. I actually got in trouble because I went backstage and I was walking around just checking out, just sightseeing. And the security got mad because I guess Jimmy Kimmel has like private quarters in that area, and I was getting too close. He goes, "Hey, who are you? Who are you with?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm the trumpet player with Hanson." He goes, "You can't be back here. Like, what are you doing?" Like, and I was just like, and back then I was a little bit more forthright with my displeasure, and I was like, "Yo, I'm just here walking. I ain't hurt nobody. I ain't no mess with nobody." But looking back, I can understand, that there's some security concerns and whatnot. But whatever, that was cool. That I still think about that experience all the time. That was cool. Met Jimmy, met so many crazy people, and being back there and just seeing how everything goes. It's that world of Hollywood and fame, it has an interesting energy to it, but it's not for me. I don't think. I'm pretty sure it's not. So.
Okay. And and real quick for people watching this, Ryan is also a talented and truthful actor. He's appeared in several commercials like Hollywood films, speaking roles in Good Kill, starring Ethan Hawke, Disney's Lemonade Mouth, and Love in Dancing, starring Amy Smart and Rachel Darch and Betty White.
Yeah, Betty White. I got to meet Betty before she passed. That was in 2007. So, there was a time where I was pursuing being in front of the camera as a mechanism to promote my music more. And then as I started doing that more, I started really enjoying like the behind the stuff camera. And that's, part of the reason, in part, why I decided to major in journalism and learned how to use a camera and learned how to do editing and all those things like that. And so, man, I'm just thankful that I get to create in a lot of different avenues and areas. Like I do on my own, marketing and promotion. And so I don't have to hire a promotion company or anything anytime I want to make a music video or, and sometimes I find that the filmmaking, especially behind the camera, is a nice reprieve from music. Sometimes, it's when you put all your energy into just one thing, you need some sort of respite. And for me, I feel like being behind the camera and creating in a filmmaking sense is just really, really peaceful and I like the challenge, and I like that it's something that I feel comes a little bit more intuitively to me than music does, believe it or not. And so I like that I can just kind of feel and create in that world without having the mind battle that goes on a lot when I'm creating music. So.
Okay, I love that. And another question before we go, everybody, thank you so much for tuning into the show.
Thank you, everybody.
What can we expect from Ryan next? When is your next tour? When are you coming to the States? All that.
August 12th is my next national release, and it's a song called Dreamer. And I'm really excited about this song because it's a song that usually when I'm creating music, I'm collaborating with, whether it be a different songwriter, not all the time, but a lot of the times, or sometimes a different producer. And this is a song that every element of this music I wrote, and it came from my mind, and I put it into my computer on the piano. I wrote the piano parts. I wrote everything on it. And so this is actually the second song that I've released to the format. Burning Boats was the first one where I've created everything from start to finish on my own. So I'm excited to release that. And, I don't perform live that often, but I would like to put out an intention of doing that more. And so I gave up chasing and begging promoters and jazz festivals. Oh, hire me. Here's my look. I have a popular song. So if it comes, then I accept. But I've decided that I'm not going to chase or beg for that stuff anymore. So by me stating that auditorily right now, that's me reaffirming that intention. So we'll see what manifests from that. So
I love it. And let people know, what's the best place to find you or reach you on social media?
My Facebook, I would say. I'm always checking my messages, my Instagram as well. You can also check out my Spotify. That's where I keep, all my music, Apple Tunes, things of that, and Tidal, all that stuff. You can reach out on my website. I have a contact form there. And but yeah, Facebook, I would say, is the platform with which I engage the most. So I'd love to connect with people there, and I appreciate all the people that Tina, Colleen, Rose Lady, everybody that I've already connected with on social media and get to see them here. And then conversely, I'd love to connect with everybody else that was in the chat and anybody else that may be hearing this. I appreciate it.
Good. Well, you are welcome back on Artist Talk anytime. That means we need a part 2 to this conversation, right?
Let's go. Let's go. I'd love to do it anytime. Just say when. I'll make myself available.
We'll make yourself available. Please, ladies and gentlemen, RyanMontano.com. We're going to let you go. And I have one final question. I'm sorry. One question. My producers look at that like, are you crazy? Like, we're way past. One question before we go. Is it a sacrifice for you to play jazz?
Yes and no. It's not a sacrifice because it's the music that I truly love. And again, I feel that I'm living my purpose in creating music and hopefully helping others along the way. So it's not a sacrifice in that regard, but it is a sacrifice because I've given up the high paying jobs and the benefits and the retirement to play music, and not that playing music and all those things are mutually exclusive, but for a lot of people they are. And so but I'm doing okay for myself. I have a roof over my head and I have food in my belly, and my goal is to be able to do that forever until my time is up.
Well, I love that, my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, international recording artist Ryan Montano. And again, if you don't know him, shame on you. Okay. Go download some music, guys. Ryan, can you stick around a little bit for me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you so much. Hey, everybody. Another great show. Again, my co-host here, Dr. G, each and every Monday right here. Thank you to each and every one of you. If I miss your name, trust me, don't blame my heart for that. I see you. Thank you so much for all of your support you have given us on the show. Of course, next Monday will be a holiday, so we won't be here. Well, we will be here the following Monday. But again, it'll be a pre-recorded show, so make sure you check out. And I have some more great, excited guests this season. You don't want to miss it. I promise you. If you do,
shame on you.
Shame on you. Hey, everybody. Don't forget to check me out each and every Saturday. My YouTube channel, K Ward Radio. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Share it with a friend, kwardradio.com. If any artist would like to be featured on the show, you'd like to send me music, all of that information is posted there. If you would like to support the show, my Cash App, PayPal is also listed. Again, thank you to Dr. G. Thank you to Chef D. Join me each and every Saturday from 8 a.m. to 12 noon in Alabama State University on 90.7 FM WBAS. Any final words, Dr. G?
Yes. Again, mental health, take care of yourself, because if you're not good, you can't take care of no one else.
There you have it. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Goodbye.
I guess Chef will torch. Yeah.
It's the Jazzy K Ward coming at ya.